It's the Lauri J. Goldstein Show with Lauri J. Goldstein from a law firm of Lauri J. Goldstein and Associates in Stewart's. Featuring local realtor Diane Chandler from Trade Winds Realty. And now, here's Lauri J. Goldstein, attorney at law.
Well, good morning to you. Thanks for joining us once again on this Tuesday, the 21st, for the Lauri J. Goldstein Show. No, I'm not Lauri J. Goldstein. I'm Barry Grant, and I'm sort of the moderator for the Lauri J. Goldstein Show. And Lauri is in court today, so not able to make it to the microphone. She's using the microphone in the courtroom. Yeah, that's how that's going. So anyway, we'll have her on next week. That's for sure. But today we have one of the top attorneys from our great law firm of Lauri J. Goldstein and Associates. Once again, we have David Aversa with us.
Good morning, Barry.
Good morning, and it's good to have you with us, David. I tell you, we have just got just a great stable of attorneys with Lauri J. Goldstein and Associates now. Just people that have tremendous value to the clients and to people that are injured, and that's the entire thought behind Lauri's firm, was working hard for the injured. And so it's great to have people who are experienced in the courtroom. It's great to have people who understand what goes on in the minds of clients, because we were talking about this earlier today, David, and that is, when somebody has an accident and somebody's, slips, falls, that sort of thing, and gets hurt, the first thing out of your mind is that you're embarrassed by it. And then the next thing is, well, I don't know, should I really go to an attorney? Should I, do I really want to go through that situation and that scenario? But that's exactly what they should do. Don't you agree, David?
Absolutely, Barry. When you have an accident, you run the gamut of emotions, embarrassment, all kinds of different emotions.
Mm-hmm.
The main thing is that if you're physically injured, if you're in pain, you owe it to yourself to get properly diagnosed. We always cross our fingers and hope somebody's not hurt badly, but you need to find out if you are or you are not, and we help guide the client through that process.
Right, and there's a certain amount of disability percentages, isn't there, David?
Yes, Florida is fairly harsh when it comes to being a personal injury client, and you really do, in the context of an auto accident, have to be awarded some percentage of permanent disability to have a viable case.
So that's something that you want to take into consideration early on in looking at what you're going to be doing as far as the representation of that particular client. And is that something that you would, encourage the person to go to a doctor and really be checked out?
Absolutely, and we have such good diagnostic tools nowadays with the advancements in MRIs, for example. They're very useful tools in diagnosing spinal cord injuries, for example.
Absolutely. Yeah, we just had that in the news just real recently. Former President Bush, George Herbert Walker Bush, fell at his place of residence and broke a vertebrae in his neck. And obviously, I don't think he's going to sue himself, but you never know. But definitely, those are things that happen. On that particular situation, how long before if you have a slip and fall, and how long of a time do you have before things are not able to be reported and that sort of thing?
Well, of course, early reporting is very important. You want to make your claim known at the time that you have your fall. You want to file an incident report with the establishment where it occurred, or if it's someone's home, put something in writing that it actually occurred. You want to document the scene where it happened, take some photographs. We have, in the slip and fall context, the burden of proving that there was a defect that caused the fall, and that defect was either actually known by the landlord or the landowner, or that the defect existed long enough that if they had been doing their due diligence, the landowner would and should have known about the defect and corrected it.
I've got a scenario for you here on this one, David, and that is, let's say you're walking downtown, somewhere downtown. There's been some, some renovations going on, say on the sidewalk and that sort of thing, and then all of a sudden you find yourself tripping over, uneven concrete or something like that. What would be the steps that you would take on something like that? Does that go against, say, the company that's the storefront that's in front of that, or is it go back to the city, or what is the process there, David?
Determining who is responsible for a slip and fall accident is one of the challenges in that genre of case. Oftentimes these things happen at a shopping center, for example, and it's usually governed by the contract between the tenants and the landlord as to who's responsible for what particular areas, and it becomes very fact specific as to where the fall occurred to determine who is responsible.
Right, because I have heard of some people and some friends of mine who have, not seen those parking lot parking abutments. They're the little stop where you can't drive any further, and your front tires come to rest on those little abutments. Trip over that, fall down the parking lot. Who's at fault there? Yeah, exactly. Right. So those are good points. Now, one thing about choosing an attorney, and that is, we need to get as much information about that firm as we can, and that's what's so wonderful about your website that you have for Lauri J. Goldstein and Associates. Tell us a little bit about that.
Barry, our website is a very valuable tool for both existing and prospective clients to check out our firm. We have several tabs there that they can click on. They can meet the attorneys. Each attorney has a biography on there. We actually introduce all of our support staff as well. It takes a village usually to handle a case effectively. So although the clients have direct contact with the attorney that's assigned to represent them in that case, they also have contact with the rest of our support staff, and we really are so lucky to have such a talented and courteous and knowledgeable support staff to help us out.
I would imagine that it's really important to, meet with an attorney as soon as you possibly can after the accident, slip and fall or whatever has happened, so that the whole detail of what took place in that accident, slip, fall, whatever the case might be, is pretty fresh in the mind, because you want to get into the facts of the case, and that's very important, don't you think, with the depositions and all?
Well, even just from the very inception of a case, Barry, we try to gather as much information as we can. We try to educate the client as much as we can, because we want the client to have a successful experience, and we want to get them through this very difficult time that they're suffering through, trying to minimize the stress and strife and who's going to pay this and who's going to pay my medical bills and how's my salary going to get paid when I'm off of work, and it's a real traumatic time.
Absolutely. And so those are the things that Lauri J. Goldstein and Associates will help the client through. One of the things that I've noticed is that when you walk into the offices there at 1330 South Federal Highway in Stewart, it's a very nice environment that you're walking into. It's not like you're not walking into the steps of the courthouse. You're walking into a place of business that has people that are very friendly, and I think that's important, and it just does lend itself to help calming the client down as they're getting ready to speak with an attorney.
Absolutely, Barry, and I think education is key there, because although we do this every day for many years, for most of our clients, it's the first time that they've experienced something like this, and they really don't know what to expect, what road blueprint their case is going to follow, what the options are for them. So we really do try to give them as much information as we possibly can. I met with a client yesterday, and I thought it was interesting, and I hear this often. She had a prior case several years ago, and came away from that very disillusioned because she only spoke with an attorney one time for a few minutes during the whole pendency of her case. And in our firm, we have direct attorney contact with every single client, in person, on the phone, via email, however they choose to communicate. But we like them to have that benefit of actual legal representation by a lawyer and not just support staff. Although it takes a village
Yes.
to help a client, the direct attorney contact is very important.
And that's where the paralegals come in, and we've just got some excellent paralegals there at Lauri J. Goldstein and Associates to help you to answer questions and to help you get in contact with the various agencies and the various doctors that you might be looking for in to help you through your time of trouble. One of the things that I can say is that we're very bilingual in that office, and that's an important point as well.
Correct. Just another step that we take to help ease the client through this difficult situation. If they're more comfortable communicating in Spanish, for example, we have several paralegals that can help us out there.
Yeah, and it's very, very good to have that ability to be able to relate in your own language what has transpired and what has taken place. It's sad, but I just saw in the news I think it was this morning that there's been another tragic motorcycle accident that ended up I think it was down in Broward County, if I'm not mistaken, either Broward or Palm Beach County, and there was a death involved. And I know that Lauri J. Goldstein and Associates, no stranger to that type of accident where you have a motorcycle accident and wrongful death, and that's one of those cases where it really that's something that would definitely go to court. Don't you agree? In most cases,
Barry, it's hard to say. We're pretty successful in settling the vast majority of our cases without the need for litigation. It's almost a thing of last resort for several reasons, but if we're unable to amicably resolve a case, our firm does not hesitate to file suit.
Right. And don't you think that because we're having so many of these motorcycle accidents, and of course, obviously there's a lot of traffic out on the road, but it doesn't seem like people are noticing the motorcycles or even looking for them.
I think you encounter a lot of times people just don't see the motorcycles for whatever reason.
Yeah, and it doesn't end up too well for the people on the motorcycle, that's for sure. I often wonder why the state of Florida dropped their thought of having motorcyclists ride with a helmet. To me, I couldn't see myself getting on a bike without a helmet. I mean, even if you need bike helmets to ride a bicycle, for crying out loud, to have a motorized vehicle, definitely need protection. Well, I'll tell you, we're going to talk with, in just a little bit, David, we're going to have a dear friend of yours and a dear friend of Lauri's here in just a couple of minutes. Talk to us a little bit about what's going on with helping people succeed. And then, of course, is the executive officer for the Helping People Succeed organization, Susie Hutchison. She's going to be joining us here on the Lauri J. Goldstein Show. And we're going to be talking about some of the things that are coming up to help the people who are helping people succeed. And that's coming up on the Lauri J. Goldstein Show here on Tuesday, July 21st.
a legal question? Talk to Lauri for free. 220-9788. That's 220-WSTU.
Well, we're back on the Lauri J. Goldstein Show. Lauri is in court today and not able to be on the show, but we have David Aversa, one of the great attorneys with, of course, the Lauri J. Goldstein and Associates firm. David, thank you for joining us. And we also have on the program, as we were looking forward to having you with us on this program, Susie Hutchison, who is the Executive Director for Helping People Succeed. Susie, welcome to the Lauri J. Goldstein Show.
Thanks an awful lot. It's great to see you guys. It's always fun to spend time at WSTU.
Well, I tell you what, we did spend some fun time on Friday with you, and that was where you're wearing another hat. You were wearing the hat of the president for the Kiwanis Club of Stewart, and there you were opening up, or actually it was Thursday, but it was opening up that beautiful barrier-free park in downtown Stewart called Kiwanis Park. And were you happy and were you pleased with the way it turned out?
It was an absolutely wonderful grand opening. The cool thing about that playground is it's really for all kids, but it's specially designed for those with special needs. I'm sure you all saw the young woman who was in a wheelchair,
Yes.
who absolutely will always most likely be in a wheelchair. And when her mother rolled her up onto the wheelchair accessible ramp and onto a piece of equipment called the Sway Fun that actually allows people in wheelchairs to swing, the smile on her face was just made everything, all the hard work everybody put into this project worthwhile. It was the first time in her 23 years she had ever been number one on a playground, and number two, a playground that she could actually access, and number three, to swing. So, it warms your heart. It brings tears to your eyes. And the most beautiful thing about that was that as she was swinging, there were many other children right on that piece of equipment with her. So she wasn't alone. She wasn't isolated. She wasn't one of those people. She was a kid on a playground having fun.
That's
and
wonderful.
We certainly appreciated the fact that you all were there, and the other couple hundred people we had as well.
Oh, yeah.
You always worry when you do a grand opening and you don't know who's coming. I sat there thinking, please let kids come, please let kids come. And about 4:45 they started coming, for the 5 o'clock grand opening.
Yes.
And when we, cut that ribbon and they went rushing onto that playground, it was wonderful. And for those of you that out there that have small children, it's perfect for small children as well. I have a 2.5-year-old grandson, and literally he ran onto that playground, and because everything is shorter and everything is a little less fast, he was able to pretty much go out there without somebody holding on to him the whole time.
And I did notice that there was a lot of young children that were
Absolutely.
there. And
Absolutely.
that's fabulous. And it didn't, have any problem. They didn't have any problem going over to some of the other areas of the park. That's quite a large park now. And where you have this wonderful barrier-free park, we need to add a few other things to that, don't we?
We do, but let me remind you that the other parts of the park were also built by the Kiwanis Club of Stewart in concert with the city of Stewart, who I'm telling you, you can't find a better group to work with. But yes, there's a master plan for the park now that includes a little water place.
Yeah, a little water portion park,
whatever you call it, like much smaller than what they have at Indian Riverside,
right.
But water. And there are going to be some more benches. Part of the rest of our playground, which is going to be, hopefully we're going to be able to raise enough money to do the shading for it, because if you go out there right now, it's hot. I mean, it is really hot.
Yes, it is.
But we're also going to put in a reading room, and we got some help from the Children's Services Council and the United Way of Martin County to basically have an area where there's a wheelchair accessible picnic table, a couple of benches, and then we're going to have those little reading rooms, little reading libraries.
Sure.
So that, let's say a kid's had enough and needs a little bit of time just to rest, they can go sit over there get a book, read a book, take it or put it back. And so there's a lot more all the way around.
It sounds very, very good for, especially for this area. And as I said, I'm so proud of our Stuart, Florida area, because putting something like this together takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of effort, takes a lot of money, and that's the other thing. Those are the things that you definitely need. Now, it's the Kiwanis Club of Stuart that's raising some more money. How about are you looking at any more matching funds from the city, or how's that going?
Paul Nicoletti is the most wonderful person in the world, as well as the city commission, just to continue to be politically correct.
Yes. And we try to be politically correct on the Lauri J. Goldstein show all the time.
I've noticed.
Yes.
Anyhow, I think that yes, there is the opportunity for additional matching funds. We're trying to raise now somewhere in the neighborhood of $100,000 to $125,000 to put the sail style shade, so the whole playground is shaded, and to build the reading area that we really think is critically important. You may or may not be aware that there are literally 15, I would guess, reading programs that are just really being implemented in our county. We're working with a group from Port Salerno, Helping People Succeed. I'm sorry, I just switched on you.
Helping People Succeed, yeah.
We're working with a group called Port Salerno Talks, and what they're finding is only 16% of the kids that go into Port Salerno School are ready for kindergarten.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so what they're doing is they're really looking at what can we do prior to a child entering kindergarten. And there's research that shows that the difference in the number of words that you know or have heard when you come into school is a real predictor of success.
Absolutely.
So that reading room, back to Kiwanis, that reading room is incredibly important.
Yes. So and that is it'll be very effective to have that.
Absolutely.
So now that you've brought in Helping People Succeed,
what a surprise.
That kind of opens up a little bit more for me to talk to you about, especially, the Lauri J. Goldstein and Associates firm has been such a strong supporter and believer in the actions of helping people succeed for many, many years. And I know that there's some things that are going to be coming up here in the months and weeks to come that will include things like, getting the calendar prepared, the wine tasting. I think, I think right now, haven't we kind of combined those events together? And tell us a little bit about what's going on at Helping People Succeed, because that's a very strong charity for the philanthropy work of Lauri J. Goldstein.
And we certainly appreciate, I love stopping when I come into town and looking up that billboard, and there's either the Kiwanis Park or our white shirt night or Pinot and Picasso. It's like, that's mine, and it feels good. It really does. And we can't really thank her enough for that. Coming up, the calendar's about to be put to bed. It's about to go to the printer. We have, again, 13 incredible artists. And then our cover sheet will honor Jane Blatt, who was a phenomenal, phenomenal artist and a great friend, not just to Helping People Succeed, but to the community, who passed away from pancreatic cancer. Ugly, ugly, ugly disease.
Yes.
So, but
Very
we're
painful.
about finished with the calendar. And again, every year I say it's the best one we've ever had. We have some new artists in it this year, so there's a lot to look forward to with it. We are, again, working with the Floridian in Palm City.
That's going to be fabulous.
For our, what
a great venue that is.
Is it beautiful or
Yes,
what?
yes.
We're both combining both the calendar, that you used to have a calendar reception and a wine tasting, and we've now kind of put those together. Last year was our first year, and we're pulling that together now. And basically, you come for a beautiful evening of art. Last year, one of our a person that we know, a donor that we have, a contributor, actually brought some real Picassos.
Wow.
And we're anticipating that again this year. He has quite a collection, and just to see it for real makes me want to take my posters off the wall. Not that I'll ever have one, but the event, we're not pinned down 100% on the date yet. We're hoping it's going to be the Thursday before Thanksgiving, but again, we're not pinned down on that date yet. Last year it was phenomenal. We had some wonderful auction items, a silent auction, and an opportunity to meet all of the artists and to actually purchase some of their additional work.
Oh, that's what I love. I love that.
Yeah,
And
we try to promote our artists as much as possible.
And I think that's great. I really do. And it just lends itself to to that when you're out and about and sipping some wine and enjoying a great evening. Any idea about ticket prices or anything like that, or have you gone that far yet?
Not that far. Higher than last year,
okay,
but still affordable.
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
I like that. Higher than last year, but still affordable.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but right now, we're still in the we're a little past preliminary, but there's still some things that we have to work out.
Sure. And get all of those things done.
You know how committees are.
Oh, believe me.
So
yes.
luckily we have great ones.
Yes, I have a homeowners association meeting tonight in my neighborhood. So believe me, I know how committees can be. Yeah,
I agreed to be on our covenant committee.
Oh, did you?
At my homeowners association.
I'm sorry for you.
Thank you.
Yeah,
they're wonderful, wonderful people. Just in case they are listening,
we've
wonderful
got,
people.
Yes, they are. They're wonderful people. We've got Tom Bishop coming in here from Tradewind Realty here to talk a little bit about real estate with us in our next segment of the Lauri J. Goldstein Show. So we'll have to hit him up on the homeowners associations. But anyway, Susie, the organization Helping People Succeed has been around for quite a long time, but there might be some in our audio radiance that don't know what Helping People Succeed is all about. And can you give us kind of a quick look back on the history?
I can give you a quick, right.
Yeah.
The organization, we're actually starting our 51st year. We started as an organization that helped people who had what we called then mental retardation. Parents wanted more for their sons and daughters than to stay home and watch TV. From that, we've grown into a very diverse, we think we're pretty big, organization that serves adults with cognitive disabilities. And what we do is we help them find and keep jobs. We create taxpayers. And that's our major goal in the disability arena. We also work with folks helping them learn about their community. If you grew up totally isolated from the general society, you have no idea how to act, and people don't know how to act around you.
Right.
So we spend a lot of time exploring our community. We do things like we help deliver Meals on Wheels. And with that, we have a supervisor who goes, and with that, those folks are thrilled to see the folks that we serve, and that's kind of new for them. We also work with children, where we work with children birth to 5, and always we do a home visit for every newborn in Martin and St. Lucie County. It's a voluntary visit. It's fun. We also work with children that have special needs from birth, and we help that parent understand that's their beautiful baby, and we're there to help them. Help that baby be the best that baby can be. Because we do such a range of services, we're able to give a lot of hope. Yes, we've worked with children with Down syndrome, and yes, they can have a future, and they can have a fairly independent future if we work together to make that happen.
Now, don't you also work with businesses who may be coming into the Stewart, Martin County, Atrisha Coast area looking for help in
Absolutely.
Putting things together, maybe some labor?
Actually, you'd be amazed at what we can do now.
Yeah.
We do meet with as many businesses as we can, and we're very lucky because many times Tim at the Business Development Board will actually include us as part of the newcomer package. And we have a program called Project Search, which you may have heard about. It's a partnership between us, the Martin Arc, the school system, and the hospital.
Right.
12 interns, and we're placing people throughout that hospital. 75% of the people that have gone through that 5-year program, which is about 60 people, are now, most of them are employed at the hospital, others other places. The other 25% are now in higher education. But what we found is we have people in the emergency room, central sterile, patient transport throughout that hospital. So the good news for the folks that we work with is that once we know what they can do, it makes it pretty easy for us to come to an employer and say, hey, we can fill that job for you.
We can place
we can
our,
fill that
our
job.
people.
Absolutely.
That's great. That's wonderful. Well, Susie, what's the best way to get in touch with helping people succeed?
Well, you can visit our website at www.hpsfl.org or call us. I'll give you my direct line, which is 772-320-0777.
I like it. Yeah, the 3 sevens.
Absolutely.
Pull that every time you got a winner. I like it.
Hadn't thought of that. Yeah.
Susie Hutcherson, thank you so much for being our guest today on our nonprofit segment of the Lauri J. Goldstein Show. We appreciate you and everything that you're doing with helping people succeed and that wonderful Kiwanis of Stewart organization as well. I know that's got to be a labor of love for you on that.
Incredible. And thank you all. And I really thank Lauri Goldstein and her group for the amount of support that we receive year round.
Absolutely. And you can count on it. That's for sure. All right, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back with Tom Bishop. He's here with Tradewind Realty, and we're going to talk to him a little bit about real estate and what's going on in the market. Big article in yesterday's Wall Street Journal said, hey, guess what? The bidding wars are back on people's homes. Well, we'll talk to him about that coming up next on the Lauri J. Goldstein Show.
Have a legal question? Talk to Lauri for free. 220-9788. That's 220-WSTU.
All right, we're back with the Lauri J. Goldstein Show, and on this segment, we're talking with Tom Bishop from Tradewind Realty, right here in Stewart.
Good morning, Barry. How are you?
I am good. I'm very, very excited, especially since I saw the this wonderful Wall Street Journal article yesterday that was in the paper that says bidding wars back for homes. And I was just saying to myself when I read that article, man, if Diane or Tom come to the show tomorrow, I want to talk to them about that. And how much are we seeing in Martin, St. Lucie, Indian River, the Treasure Coast, and even in the Palm Beaches? Are we seeing any of that right now where we're going into bidding wars on property?
Yeah, you're seeing a lot of multiple offers put in. I think what it is, inventory is low. There's not a lot of homes out there. So, because there's not a lot of inventory, the prices are going to go up.
Right. And so, that's part and parcel of what is causing this this bidding war. With that, though, we were talking a little bit earlier before the program out in the green room, and you were saying, Tom, that one of the things that we can probably look for is maybe a little downturn in price structure, maybe later in the year, maybe when the Fed starts to maybe raise interest rates, that kind of thing. How do you guys in the real estate business, how do you look at that right now?
Well, that does make a big difference in when people buy, when the rates go up, does make it. But I mean, there's some things you can do for yourself. I mean, really to get your finances in order when you're looking to buy a home before you go look. Get pre-approved, check your credit score. There's companies that will help you improve your credit over a period of time, which will help your rate. So in a better situation, the more prepared you are to make a purchase, the better it is for you when you go through that process.
Also, there was another article going back to the Wall Street Journal, where they were saying that fewer and fewer of the millennials, of that segment of the population are, looking to buy homes right at this point. They're more of the renter type situations that are going to meet their specifications right at this point. And how is that going to work out for real estate in the future?
Well, I can't predict the future. I'd like to, I can't. But there are a lot of people that are renting just because it's hard to get financed. When you can't get the money, then there's a demand on renting. And we talked about it before in the show about the rates going up, how much rent has gone up over the last few years.
Right.
And some places have seen double digits. And I mean, almost every place, whether you live in a mobile home park or just have a condo down the street, rents are going up on the average, and it just depends on where we're at. In Florida, obviously, this area is a place where people want to be at, so your demand's going to be a lot higher.
How about the situation with I think I read somewhere today where Dodd-Frank is like I guess 5 years old or something like that today. How is that? Is that helping people to afford more in the way of property, or have they just tightened down on the money so hard that it's hard to get a loan?
I think it's just tight to get a loan. I think it's very difficult. I mean, for anybody, it depends on what you're going to use it for. But I mean, I think it's hard for people to get a loan. I mean, you see a lot more cash deals than you do anything else. But I also see a lot of people are moving here because of relocation from companies like FP&L or out at Pratt Whitney and things like that. So we do see a lot of people coming in from those areas, and they come in differently because they're helped by the corporations and getting some funding. So it does help them that way.
So they can look to have relocation dollars to spend on pieces of property.
Yeah, there's a big incentive when a company brings you down, whether it's a cost of moving, helping you with your closing cost, helping you get financed. There's a lot of incentives to move to Florida. Plus, a lot of people want to move here because they don't have to pay the taxes.
Well, I'm excited because I got the Tradewin Realty sign up on a piece of property in North Palm Beach. It was my mother's home, and we're looking to sell that piece of property. And I'll tell you what, that Tradewin Realty sign looks pretty good.
It's a beautiful sign.
It is really.
But you have a beautiful home.
Yes.
I mean, the terrazzo flooring, it's beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah,
I love it.
It is. It's exciting to see it being transformed right before our very eyes, and we're looking at it. It's what do they call that type of? The home was built in the 50s, so it's got that
Art Deco.
Art Deco, the Art Deco appeal.
It does.
And so I mean, we've got everything in there. We're staging the home, obviously.
Right.
Staging the home so that when they walk in that door, it's like boom, they're back in Florida in the 50s.
And that's a smart thing to do, and a lot of people don't take that into consideration when they're selling their home. You really have to make it look appealing for that time period that it is, and you've done a great job. It's a beautiful home, but what is it? I smell bidding war in your home?
One can hope.
Let's hope.
Yeah, one can hope. Yeah, bidding war. And I thought, I was excited when I saw that one. But that hasn't happened in real estate though in quite a while, has it, Tom?
No, it's been a little while. But with the inventory the way it is, the multiple hours. I just had a house where we had a contract and it was contingents. We talked about that before, and we had 3 backup offers on that. So, there's a lot of pressure if you're the first one in.
Sure. Because
you have your time frame, and you know that there's other people behind it wanting to buy it if something goes wrong for you, and you can get out of the contract at that time. But, hopefully that'll be the situation for you. I'm sure it will be. That's a hot area where your mom's home is.
Oh, yeah. It's a nice area in North Palm Beach, and got a lot of beautiful homes in that area, and it's a well-established neighborhood. It's a little bit, off it's very close to the Gardens Mall and all of the things that you want to have as far as shopping convenience and schools and things like that. But yet it's off on its own little,
I like it.
little
I like
road.
that area right up there. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
going to tell them it's right off of Prosperity, just north of PGA Boulevard. I mean, let's not
Exactly.
beat around the bush of where it is. It's
Exactly.
a great location
And what is that number to call for the trade wind?
for trade winds. It's
Yeah.
772-288-0559. Or you can call me directly at 561-762-7869.
Oh, absolutely. So give Tom a call and let's talk about it. It's a beautiful home there, waiting for you.
Waiting for you. It's a
Yeah,
great home.
it's got 3 bars in it too. That's the other thing that I like. So.
My liver loves that.
Yes, 50 ways to leave your liver. Yeah, that's the way that is. Well, I'll tell you what, Tom. What are the other things that are happening as far as what Tradewind is doing in the real estate business? I know you got a great website. You have some great properties that you're offering right now. So tell us a little bit about that website.
Well, you can go to it. It gives a list of homes, not just the ones that we have, but other homes to help you find. It's always good to do your research. I mean, I always encourage people to, if you find an area like you're talking about where your mom's home is to go out to the local restaurants and have some dinner, meet some of the local people, go to your Starbucks or the coffee shop and meet some people around there and just hear what they have to say.
Right.
The other thing is with the HOAs that we talk about, it really can be difficult to deal with. I think when you're looking to buy a condo or a townhome, whatever it is with the HOA, you need to really look at their plans for the future for that community.
Mm-hmm.
You also need to look at what kind of budget they have. Anything they're going to do to change in the future, because you could be assessed for that. So you kind of want to know. And you also like to see what their reserve funds are.
Sure.
Because you don't want to be in a situation where they're tapped out on the money and then you buy in there.
And hitting you with a cam.
And geez, oh, Pete, that's
Yeah.
terrible.
Oh,
That's
you
happened
know.
to me before.
Oh yeah.
Oh, God,
no,
it's
it's happened.
terrible.
It's happened to me before in it being involved in a not a residential property, but in a business office
Right.
building. And it's like, whoa, where did this come from? Here's
Well-
another 10 grand you need to come up with.
I was up in northern Florida, central Florida, looking at a piece of property. It was interesting that the people that lived there had bought this place in the 70s.
Mm-hmm.
And then the city came in and added sewer and water for them that they really weren't prepared for.
Oh, wow.
And so they're hit for this. It increased their bills $200 a month for the next 10 years.
Wow.
So all these people are now looking to get out
Well, sure.
because big strain on their budget.
Yeah, it's just hard to think that especially if you're on a fixed income or whatever, then you get an extra couple of hundred right there. Hello,
Oh,
and
not
that's every month. So
And then when you go to sell, you have to take that into consideration because that carries on to the next person. So you have to either pay it off beforehand or adjust your price for that. So it's a lot of things to look at with the HOAs.
right. And once again, what's the number for Tradewind Realty again?
772-288-0559.
And you're right downtown, aren't you?
Right, 47 Osceola. Come by.
Can't beat it.
Come by
All
and
right.
have some coffee.
Let's do that. Let's do that. We're going to take another break now, and we're going to come back with attorney David Aversa with Lauri J. Goldstein and Associates. We're going to talk a little bit more about what's happening with the Lauri J. Goldstein firm and what you can look forward to in the future. So right here on the Lauri J. Goldstein Show, thanks for joining us here on WSTU.
Have a legal question? Talk to Lauri for free. 220-9788. That's 220-WSTU.
Well, we are back with the Lauri J. Goldstein Show on this Tuesday, July 21st, and we have attorney David Aversa with us. And David, you've been with the firm now, 5 years, I think, right?
That's right, Barry.
And so I'm telling you, you've really seen a lot of philanthropic work that Lauri J. Goldstein does in this community. And the firm helped out with just this. The current project here was the barrier-free park. They really back up that. She's a firm believer in saying that if she's a community partner that cares, she really does show it, doesn't she?
Lauri is just amazing with her philanthropic work. When Susie Hutchison was here, I had fond recollections of attending the Pinot and Picasso event last year at the Floridian, and the ribbon cutting ceremony for the Park Without Barriers. There's just always something local that Lauri's involved with that just makes the community that much better.
Exactly, and it's not only here in Martin County, but it's also in the Palm Beaches, as well as Fort Pierce and St. Lucie County. So we're getting ready to really kind of expand out a little bit more. We heard from the Life Builders organization.
Is that Diamond Liddy's group?
Diamond Liddy's group, and we're going to be involved in that particular event, and that's coming up, I believe that's October. So, in fact, I got just recently in the mail, I got my save the date card, and so we're looking forward to that. But there's more coming from Lauri J. Goldstein and Associates in the weeks and months to come. That you'll want to take a look at our billboards that we have, the ones that are electronic, which we get to change quite often, and that's one north of the bridge, and then two on Canner Highway and Monterey Road. We want to go back a little bit to what we were talking about earlier in the practice, as far as making people feel comfortable when they walk in the door at Lauri J. Goldstein and Associates. And one of the things that people, commonly think about, well, if I just don't know whether I should, go through with a lawsuit. Does that make me a bad person? That sort of thing. Talk to that issue just a little bit, David.
Well, what I think it's important for any potential client to realize is that if we're successful with their case, they're going to be indemnified. They're not going to be made better. They're going to be made equal to their situation had this thing not occurred. And that's what it's all about.
Exactly. And I think one of the things that we had mentioned is that it's sort of like knowing about a problem. Okay, you know that there's a problem on the premises, or there's a problem, a defect in a product or something like that, and you don't say anything. And somebody else gets hurt.
And that could very well happen.
And would that make you feel better? I don't think so. I don't think that would make anybody feel better. So there's a certain amount of, and once you walk in, you're walking into the firm realizing that it's a free consultation.
Absolutely.
And tell us a little bit about how that goes on, and Lauri's firm is based on the fact that if there's nothing happens in the case, nobody's out any money.
Our fee is based on a contingency, and if we're unsuccessful in getting the client a recovery, then there are no fees or costs owed.
Exactly. And so the thing about knowing where to go and who to see is doing your due diligence as a client. I've had a lot of people talk to me about the fact that they would definitely, if they were involved in an accident or if they had a slip and fall and that sort of thing, they would certainly turn to Lauri J. Goldstein and Associates because they're so active in the community.
Absolutely.
That's the thing. I think that really is the hallmark of what happens outside the courtroom. outside the fact that the cases are handled in a professional manner, and that you're working hard for the injured. If you look at the community partnership that Lauri J. Goldstein and Associates takes in this community and our surrounding communities, it's unparalleled. It really is. So that does make a difference, I think. And as you said, their commitment to personal one-on-one service.
It's a very personal experience with our firm.
So what's the best number to call?
Barry, our office number is 772-222-2222, and we look forward to helping anybody with any questions they might have.
I love that number. 772-222-2222. How can you go wrong with that? Well, look at this. We're getting another call from another one of our nonprofit organizations, Boys and Girls Club of St. Lucie County. We're going to be talking with them a little bit later on today about the Steak and Steak event that is going to take place a little bit later on in the month of September. So we'll be talking with them about that, and that's another opportunity for community partnership with Lauri J. Goldstein and Associates. I'd like to thank David Aversa, attorney at David Aversa. Thank you so much for being here with us on the Lauri J. Goldstein Show once again this week, and filling in for Lauri, who's in court today, and Tom Bishop. Tom Bishop with, of course, the Tradewin Realty. Tom, thank you.
Thank you, Barry.
And, of course, how could we miss with having somebody as great as Susie Hutchison on here?
Oh, she is the best.
She really is the executive director for helping people succeed. All right, well, this is Barry Grant. We'll be back next Tuesday right here on the Lauri J. Goldstein Show on WSTU.
You've been listening to the Lauri J. Goldstein Show on 1450 WSTU. Brought to you by a law firm of Lauri J. Goldstein and Associates, 1330 Southeast Federal Highway in Stewart. Working hard for the injured and a community partner that cares. Call them at 772-222-2222. The views expressed by Lauri J. Goldstein and her guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of the staff and management of 1450 WSTU. Join Lauri next Tuesday at 10 a.m. for the Lauri J. Goldstein Show on 1450 WSTU.